Views expressed in the videos are my observation, analysis of events, persons based on principles of astrology. It's not my intent to predict, forecast absolute outcomes, only suggest how they may unfold. Nothing is set in stone. I could be wrong, but often I'm right. My desire is not to promote fear, only inform about what we see unfolding. It is our wish to prepare our subscribers for events that could affect them, their family, their goals, and their future, to help to prepare for what you may already feel suspect is happening, and to send a warning shot across the bow and raise a flag of concern. Our goal is to help, not hinder, in these perilous times, to inspire and offer possible direction, and to reveal that a greater plan and purpose are behind all that is happening. Eventually, we will see a brighter day. If you would like to show your appreciation for our work on these videos or this channel, and also the Knowing Whispers channel, you can always click on the word thanks at the bottom of all the videos. Hello everybody, it's Robert Cosmar of the Astrology for Those Who Are Awakening YouTube channel, and also Wisdom for Those Awakening YouTube channel. And believe it or not, today in my video I'm going to be talking about astrology, and I'm going to be framing it in the picture, so to speak, of what is happening in the world that we are currently living in. So this is going to be a video that talks about the astrology, but I'm going to be discussing the changes that you are seeing and the things that you are feeling, what they mean, why they're important, and what you can do to prepare yourself to be able to adjust to the impact of these particular aspects that I'm going to be talking about here. Okay? The two most critical factors astrologically that are going on right now in the world, in our horoscopes, have to do with Pluto's entrance into Aquarius, and also, oddly enough, Uranus's entrance into Gemini. Okay? Now, whenever you have more than just one planet going into a sign, or even a house for that matter, you're talking about a major adjustment in your life. You're talking about some kind of a shift or some kind of a change. And when you're talking about Pluto and you're talking about Uranus, you're talking about revolutionary change, unexpected change, enforced change. Okay? Change that you really can't anticipate unless you are an astrologer or you're consciously, intuitively aware of a need for change. So these particular aspects are reflective of the revolutionary stuff that we're seeing going on. The situation with Trump being in the presidency, the things that he is doing. And because Pluto is trining this Uranus right here, this is an indication of revolutionary change that is, in a sense, the universe is allowing it, permitting it. It's a situation of the karma, fate, and destiny, so to speak, of the world. Okay? So it shouldn't upset us, but the fact of the matter is that it does, because it's unexpected, and because of the fact that you're talking about, in particular here, Pluto leaving Saturn. Saturn is form. Saturn is logic and reasoning. Saturn is concrete. Saturn is something that your mind can wrap itself around, okay? But if something happens that disrupts Saturn, such as Pluto going into the sign of Aquarius, which by the fact is ruled by Uranus here, and they're in a trine aspect to one another, you have unexpected revolutionary change that is going to be very difficult emotionally, initially, for people to cope with and to deal with, because their beliefs, their understanding, their life has been based upon other parameters than what they see happening. Okay. And of course, the big signature of this entire situation that we see going on is the fear that exists. Okay. And it's primarily because of the fact that we have this idea that the most powerful person in the world is the President of the United States. And Donald Trump, who is by mass vote one of the most despicable human beings living on the planet, okay, we have a situation logically that we should be fearful, we should be terrified, we should believe the worst is going to happen, okay? And in that whole process, we very conveniently forget that Donald Trump doesn't rule the universe. He doesn't rule the world. He is being given permission to be in the place that he is, which is why he's there and why no matter what we would have imagined, okay, if you were a Democrat, things did not go that way because the universe wanted it to. Because the universe is wanting something significant to happen here. And this is also at the foundation of Pluto going into Aquarius, Uranus going into Gemini. Uranus going into Gemini and Pluto going into Aquarius are very much an indication of this AI movement going on. If you noticed on the internet, you have the option now in a lot of your browsers to choose an AI selection, artificial intelligence, versus doing searching different locations by their URLs. And this information comes very fast. Okay. And I was thinking this morning about this as I saw this. I was playing around looking at some things astrologically, and I thought to myself, you know something? The way this AI is working, it could run astrologers out of business. Okay, because most people want a quick fix. So they can go to a website and say, okay, I got Venus squaring Jupiter, what's going to happen by progression? And you get this very nice little thing, which seems to be fairly accurate. All right. Although it doesn't get to the real meat and potatoes of why these things are happening to you, the areas of your life they're happening. Okay, so there's a danger there, but there's also a seductiveness, which the darker side, if you want to call it that, the universe is playing at here. Because we're so conditioned to be on our smartphones everywhere, you know, at the Walmart, in the car, in the bathroom. Okay, we're almost conditioned to be locked in electronically. Okay, and these new things coming out like this chat something or other, I can't remember exactly what the name of it is, chat AI, maybe something like that, which is able to create these visual worlds, I guess, you know. And I saw something this morning where you could input the pictures of your relatives at a wedding 100 years ago, and it would create an audio that looked exactly like it was a video at that particular time. So we're going through tremendous revolutionary change in communications, in electronics, in astrology, probably most likely, and also the internet. Okay, now, again, the darker equivalent there is what it's doing to the minds of people. All right? It's a little teaser. It's a little teaser that says, oh, have faith in technology, have faith in all the things, wonderful things that are coming down the road. Okay, follow us, follow us. We're going to the moon, we're going to Mars, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's the one side. Okay, that's the side that those in power, those that are greedy, those that are arrogant, those that are proud, they want you to hear that. They want to give you, quote, this hope that if you do the things you've always been doing, that you're on their side, everything is just honky-dory. However, there is another side to what's going on. Of course, you know by now, this is the side that I essentially have shifted my astrological work. Okay? Because I recognize consciously that alongside all of this technological advancement, so to speak, that's going on, there is also a conscious revolution that is going on very quietly, you know, in the back extreme, so to speak. Even though you see a lot of this on the internet, on Facebook and different other places, LinkedIn and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that are implementing higher conscious views into the work environment, or at least they're trying to. Okay. But in large part, for the most part, most of us, most people, will be seduced, so to speak, by that dark technological side that says, don't do any personal work, don't meditate, don't go within, that's, foolish, don't do that. All right. And which has kind of been the way it's been for several thousand years at least, and continue to suffer because behind the backdrop of all of this wonderful stuff that we're being told, there is the universe, which has a different plan, a different program. Okay. And that program was essentially revealed and made known prophetically in the book of Revelation, if you're a Christian background. And in other things, Edgar Casey and other prophets down through the time, that we've been alive and stuff, that have been talking about these things. And of course, you can see physically what is happening in the world now. We have wars that have sprung up. We have threats of bigger wars possibility. We have issues regarding health. The whole structure of our health has changed dramatically since Trump came in office and Robert Kennedy Jr. Was thrust into that position, and it's going to continue. All right. So we're having to deal with a tremendous amount of fear. And for fear to continue, it doesn't bode well. Okay? When fear grows and grows and grows, you can be assured that violence is going to eventually come about because of the fact it'll overwhelm people. We're seeing a lot more police officers being ambushed. We're seeing people in groups being shot because people who have a very weak sense of self and sense of consciousness, if you want to call it that, being overwhelmed, being thrust into a madness. Okay? And it's all because they're ignoring this need that we have within inside of ourselves to be a whole, conscious human being. Not one that is dominated by their mind, their logic, and their reasoning, but one that is consciously aware of themselves and of what is going on. Okay, and again, this is why I have shifted away from doing just the videos of the gloom and doom type stuff, which was a warning more than anything else for about 6 to 8 years, to trying to help you to understand both here in this video and in the work that I'm doing now, which is a more consciousness-based videos, trying to help you to transform yourself. Okay, trying to help you to understand consciously, okay, what's going on, what you can do about it, okay, what you should consider doing about it, and how to avoid the overwhelming compulsion to respond to fear. I have no idea how long this is going to last, but I suspect that it could last for at least a decade or more, and it will probably get worse. However, there is something else that's going on, all right? Something that, quite honestly, I would find, if I was, quote, totally a logical human being, I would find hard to believe, all right? And what that is that for those that are meditatively focused within inside of themselves, they are becoming consciously more aware that there is a part of themselves that knows and understands exactly what's going on and why it's happening. And they recognize that this phase we're going through right now is much like a pregnancy type factor, where you have 9 months before the baby's delivered. Well, we're going through that 9 months of uncomfortableness, so to speak. And that ultimately it is going to lead to a birth in consciousness that transcends our logic and our reasoning. And that one that, as you might call, intuition on steroids. And this is going to bring about a different way of viewing life, of viewing ourselves, and of viewing what we need to do about things as they are unfolding before us right now. Okay? Because the belief is right now, you have two beliefs going on right now for those who are not aware and awake. You have, I better listen to Trump and do what he tells me, okay? Because he's in control. He's God on earth right now, okay, is the one side. And the other one essentially is to quiver in fear and to make decisions based upon that fear, okay, which ultimately will not lead to any good whatsoever, okay? And again, the other side of that is to listen to your heart. Listen to what you feel. Those of you that are aware and awakening, because the promise here, there's a promise here. There's a promise of Pluto trining Uranus, Pluto going into the sign that Uranus rules, Uranus going into communications, okay? The sign here of Gemini. But you have a choice that you have to make. That choice is that you can let fear guide you, or you can overcome fear consciously, okay, by shifting your attention from your mind and your emotions and your imagination consciously within to your heart, your intuition, and your feelings. Okay, this of course is all brought about by an inner search within inside of ourselves. So this is kind of where we stand right now, and as I said before, I'll do these as an update from time to time, but the bulk of my work has to be focused on helping those of you that are becoming more aware and awake to understand what to expect next, what to feel next, what you're going to realize next. That is more important right now than anything, than any constant day-to-day astrology videos about Trump's chart or anybody in Trump's administration's chart, or just a natural, just a, a mundane chart of the entire planet. Those things can be helpful in a sense, but they're not really getting to the core of the issues that are going on. And as I said before, this is why I had to get away from doing those types of videos, because I know that humanity is going through a shift. Humanity has to change. And the change has to be one person realizing at a time that the way they have been living, believing, and thinking is not the best option. Okay? All right. Now, keep in mind, you probably are aware of this because I put this out every week, that Saturday and Sundays, CJ and I do 2 live streams. One I do by myself, one we do together. The one on Saturday is called Wisdom for Those Awakening, where we talk about a lot of things that are going on. We're going to be talking next week about astral travel, lucid dreaming. And then on Sunday, from 10 to 11 in the morning, okay, I do classes on those things which my higher self, my guidance, my Christ consciousness shared with me, to give you some insight into understanding more why meditation is so important, why things are happening to you, what it is that you're experiencing, okay? To kind of give you some guidance and understanding what you're experiencing, what you're going through. And the great thing about those classes is that the information they're sharing with me, I'm able to share with you. And I'm able to experience those experiences that are being shared by my guidance. Okay? So they become knowing experiences that broaden my conscious understanding of what's going on and help me to overcome being sucked into the turbine of fear, so to speak, that's revving itself up constantly. So, if you get a chance, these 2 will be broadcast on both YouTube channels, the Astrology for Those That Are Awakening and Wisdom for Those Awakening. For the present time, they're for an hour. Sometimes we go over an hour if other people are interested and have a lot of questions. But they are designed to try to help those of you that are going through change, to cope with, to deal with, to understand what is happening to you psychologically, spiritually, emotionally. Okay, so that you don't have to believe the fear. Okay, and that is the essence of the big problem that's being addressed by the universe. Humanity has been under fear for a long, long, long time. We have thrown away our power, given it to a select few, vote them in office, crown them as king, and then we suffer the result of that depending upon whether they're a narcissist or whether or not they're a compassionate human being who embraces all of humanity and not just the select few. Okay? All right, so pretty much that's basically it. And I hope that this video puts a smile on the face of some of you who have missed my astrology videos. But again, my internal spiritual barometer, has told me and will continue to tell me over the next several months that you need to be shifting over into something else. There's information that's more important than just talking about the astrology. Okay? Although astrology is very valuable in understanding to a certain degree. Okay? That the universe is a whole, that nothing happens for no reason at all, and that things are connected somehow. But there must come a time when you realize that you have to balance what you get from the astrology with what you must discover what's inside of yourself. Okay? Or you will not be able to completely remove yourself from that fear. Okay. From the low of my life, CJ, my spiritual partner, my best friend, thank you so much for your support over the last, 6 to 8 years. Maybe it's 8 years at this point. And I hope that you will take to heart what I'm sharing with you and that you will join us on Saturday morning from 10 to 11 or Sunday morning from 10 to 11. You will not be disappointed. Okay? And you'll find that you're not alone in dealing with what you have to go through. Okay? All right. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you on Saturday or Sunday.